Welcome to DT Madness Chronicles from the Third Life, episode 62, June 3rd, 2023. So glad you could make it. This week's episode is a bit of a hodgepodge. We'll start off with graduation, Crest High School. Graduation was held last night, the class of 2023. These are the kids that were taken out of ninth grade for the most part because of the 2020 madness that we had. And then their sophomore year was um, cut kind of half, with that hybrid model that we did. But it was a really, really great ceremony that we had. The weather was beautiful, sunny, and everybody pulled together like we do. I graduated from Crest in 1996, which of course is the greatest year of all time ever. Certainly from Crest High School, but my email address is worldwide 96 because everybody that I ever met really from that year was pretty awesome. But I was trying to tell the kids last night, they were over for a fire after the ceremony. I didn't have any kids graduate this time, but many of our friends did, and I was telling them about the class of 96, and that was what was up. And they used the phrase like that was like when world wars happened, and that was the olden days, like that, like I'm history. Anyway, but the graduation ceremony last night was really great. The speakers, the students gave really good speeches about overcoming challenges and not tiptoeing around challenges, highlighting the great successes that this class has had. And I'll tell you, like my role last night was to stand down at the bottom of the home side uh, stands, and really, I had two jobs, I guess. One was to make sure no one had an umbrella open, but it was so sunny for people sitting there for a couple of hours that we didn't mind that. We just let them know to put them up, before the ceremony started. And the other was to make sure no one rushed the field, and that didn't seem to be an issue. So I just got to stand there and speak to some people and help out with some other things. And but I got there early. I went down. I'm an early guy. I like to go places early. I was due there at 4, so I wanted to get there at 3:30. Um, and I walked down to the stadium from the school, past in front of the brand new auditorium that we will have hopefully for next school year, and by the baseball field that I played on 27 years ago, and but by the press box that I announce baseball games from now, and by the press box that I announce the football games on Thursday and Friday nights now. And as I walked in um, to the stadium, it really did, like, it took my breath away. Like, even, I don't know, 27 years later after graduating from there, but working there for the past 2 decades and seeing the monuments that we have in place for our football state championships, and just seeing the white chairs set up for graduation in the stage. Ah, man, it just moves me. It really does. Like, I love the Chargers, man. I was one of the guys that used to take my shirt off and paint up, and I've joked that maybe when I get to hang the flags in Boiling Springs, our new Crest Charger flags, that maybe that's what I'll do. I'll take my shirt off and paint up CHS so that I can hang those flags. But it just was a really good night. And now today is the first day of so-called summer break. And but yeah, anyway, graduation was. I want to go back. one of the things that we've had a lot of controversy. I think I'm off the clock now. Like I'm not getting paid by Cleveland County Schools anymore until August, and so I think I might can say some stuff. But there's been a lot of controversy in our county over a senior prank incident that happened at a different school, and school board members acting stupid, and whatever Facebook and people who I don't know. I'm not trying to be critical. This is a happy, fun episode. Anyway, what the kids last night, what they did kind of as their senior prank is you have to understand that our principal and assistant principal they love fishing, like, and that's all they talk about. I mean, they talk about fishing all the time, and they go fishing with each other on the weekends. And so what the graduates did was they had these tiny little rubber fish, I guess that you would use as bait of some sort. And as they went up to collect their diploma and shake the hand of the principal, Mr. Shields, they had these little tiny fish in their hands. So I could see it from my vantage point. I could see that he was getting something and having to hand it off to another assistant principal, but only afterwards did I see that he had, I don't know, close to 100, probably, maybe more, of these little fishes that they were given to him. So that was really good. But again, so proud of these kids, man. Just so proud. If you're a teacher, then you understand what I'm saying. If you're not, then you should consider it. You should consider becoming a teacher and getting to influence and be influenced by the amazing young people that we have. But graduation was good for me in another aspect because of this STEPS challenge that we're doing at Town Hall. I think there are 12, about half of the employees that are work for the Town Hall. So I think it's 12, and me are involved in this STEPS challenge for the month of June, and I love winning. I do. I love winning, and so the goal is to get over 5,000 each day. And so far, the first 2 days, I've gotten uh, 8,500 or so on the first day. And then yesterday, because of graduation, I got almost 11,000 steps. And so, I don't know, we post our first updates on Monday. And so we'll see how many. I've got to really try to get some steps in here now. It's 8:47 a.m. Eastern time. And so I've got to get all of my stuff in before 10:30 this morning, so I'm up early, kind of early-ish, doing the working on the podcast here, and then I need to run to the car wash really fast so that I can vacuum out all the mulch and stuff that is in my trunk, because of the stuff. But because Sydney and I went to Lowe's, we love going to Lowe's, and got some mulch for our flower beds, and also some fertilizer type stuff, some soil for the sunflowers that she planted, and those sunflowers are coming up very nicely. And but I put these bags in the back of my Camry, and so now there's a bunch of stuff in there, but I got to get it cleaned out because we are headed down to Wrightsville Beach here in just a day or two, and I got to get all that done. I need to go down to the river. And so I should stop babbling. But I got to go down to the river to get some steps in, to try to walk as much as I can before 10:30, because at 10:30 the online, nope, what is it called? It's one. I don't know what ONE stands for. Something online network for evaluation maybe, but the reading for AP government, um, government and politics, so GOPO, we call it GOPO. Um, the reading begins today, which means that uh, me and I don't know, hundreds of other teachers, if not probably just hundreds of other teachers across the country, will begin the process of scoring and grading the free response questions. There are four of them on AP Government. And that begins at 10:30, and I'm doing it from home this year. I've done it in the past where I went down to the location. In fact, that's, when it started, I was reading AP Psychology. I was reading those exams and scoring them, and that was in Tampa, and I did that for a couple of years, and that was really great and grueling and awful and wonderful. like reading from 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock every day for about 7 days, and with a 15-minute break in the morning, one in the afternoon, and an hour for lunch. But otherwise, reading and reading and reading and reading in a quiet kind of warehouse setting, the same exact essay over and over and over. And there's one of them where it was about someone dropping a wallet on the AP Psych exam. And I just read the word wallet so many times, wallet, 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 that I really had to get up and walk out for a second because that word was driving me like bonkers, DT madness, I told you. Um, so I did that for 2 years, and then of course the stupid thing happened in 2020, and it went online. We went to an online reading system, and for whatever reason, uh, I didn't get an invite for psychology last year, I guess, and so I just switched teams and applied to be a reader for AP Government. Was accepted for that, and then so I did the reading last year, and starting this year, there's 4 different types of free response questions on the AP Government exam. There's 3 that are kind of easy, and then one that's an argument essay. I don't mean easy to write necessarily, but easy to read and grade. And I hope I get one of the first 3. But when I'm logged in to this one system, I'm getting paid. And so I like to be on there as much as I can. Plus, I like to win. I like a challenge. I like to be able to read these things, score them effectively, and I'm being back checked by other readers, and yet see my numbers go up. I like to try to get as much as I can. I think the most I read one day down in Tampa was like 350. Um, but in the end, it's like, you're reading somewhere close to 3,000 exams. So that begins today. That will be a little bit of a challenge because we are going to the beach, so I'll have to pick my spots down there, but I want to try to get as many hours in as I can today. I know you're so excited to hear about my work for the College Board. I have been talking a little bit, I did last week, about wanting to get some flags for the Crest Chargers, and I was able to get some from uh, the Crest band, the Crest Color Guard, some old ones. They're old and just one sided, but they got the old school Charger logo on there. And so I had to get a flag holder, and I did. I got myself a flag holder, and I put it up. I had to get the one that goes on a railing because that's what we have out front, like some old school 1970s. Is it It's not lattice. It's like these curly Q looking things. Like looks like a clef symbol, a note. You know what I'm talking about? Looks like a anyway. Um, but I got that thing hooked up, and uh, nice PVC pipe for a flagpole. The sleeve on the flag has no attachment at the top. It doesn't have a pocket, and the Velcro that's supposed to be there is gone. So I had to get a only thing I could find was a what do you call those things? What do you call those things? Like those wooden clips that you put to keep the chips closed. You know what I'm saying? Or you could put them on somebody else's ear to be funny. But I got one of those up on top, and I put the flag holder up a little bit too high currently, and so the flag flies up on the roof and kind of gets stuck. But I got my old school Charger flag flying. Looking forward to getting those going, and then maybe I'm going to become a flag guy. We'll see what types of flag I get. I got an American flag for sure. I'd love to have a North Carolina flag, but who knows what else type of flag I'm going to get it. Wave that flag, wave it wide and high. But speaking of that, working on some homecoming festivities and thought about doing a parade, but that seems like more of a headache than maybe it's worth the first year anyway. Because the question is, for Crest High School homecoming in my town, Boiling Springs, like if we're going to do it on the day of the game, then we're going to have to get out of school early, which I know no one would be disappointed by. But then it's about girls getting their hair and their nails done for homecoming and their dresses and all that kind of stuff, and then pictures made, and the team's got to eat pregame meal. And so maybe in the future, but what we're looking at is doing it the Saturday after September 23rd. So if you're a Crest person or some Crest people, then make some plans now. Go ahead and put September 23rd in your calendar and come out to Boiling Springs, and hopefully we'll have some food trucks. We got Pelicans snowballs and all that kind of stuff. We'll have some other types of food and snack options. I'm not sure what type of music scene we'll have. Probably just a DJ of some sort. Uh, um, and still working on some ideas. So if you have some ideas as well for how we could set it up and like what the program would be to attract people to come out for a couple of hours to celebrate Crest and in a homecoming fashion, then let me know. I really am looking at that. But I guess we do need to spend a little bit of tea time this morning. Not too much because this is a happy fun episode. And but I've read Beartown. I've been talking about that, and all three books are not called Beartown, but it's the Beartown trilogy, and I can't quite remember what the other two books are called because it's just one big story um, that I was immersed in for a week or two. And I've tried to read a couple of other books since, but to no avail, to no success. And part of that is because I knew the reading was coming up for government, and I don't really have time to read another book. But most of it is because there's nothing that really matches up. There's nothing that I could follow that with. And so um, I did order a couple of new Frederick Backman books. One I have sitting here is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. So that one will be coming up next. I'll probably take that one down to the beach. But Anxious People is another one that I want to read. I do have this one called The Covenant of Water. Abraham Verghese. It's the new Oprah Book Club thing. But you can hear maybe that I am delaying this tea time with Mara. One of the quotes in the Beartown trilogy really hit me. One of the main characters is talking about it, and I couldn't find it. I know I took a picture of it to remember the quote, but I can't remember it quite exactly. But it's just this. First, let me say that I do like. It's been a couple of really good weeks. I think I mentioned the rope. I know I did. The way that my therapist pulled me up quite literally using a rope off of the couch. That has been, I mean, it's just been really phenomenal and fantastic. Like in helping me to process and deal with the fact that the past is the past, and I've got to recognize that and like accept it for what it is, for what it was, and that. Um, but yeah, it's been a really good couple of weeks, or week and a half or so since my last session. But this one little thing I've told you about how I don't like to go to the doctor. Um, Sydney and Isaac started watching The Good Doctor, but so I'm trying to watch that and almost as a way of exposure therapy. But there's this idea that I have that I don't want to let people down, that I don't want to create sad feelings in you, especially my kids. And this standard that I've set for myself, it's borderline like egotistical, and it probably isn't borderline. It probably is egocentric because the standard that I want to meet is immortality. And this quote that kind of got these wheels turning for me, that helped me see that, you know, part of the reason why I don't want to go to the doctor or have something be wrong with me is because I don't want to let you down with my mortality. And that seems like a ridiculous thing to say when I say it out loud, because of course we're all in that boat. And so one of the things that I've been processing is hearing and visualizing different voices, kind of letting me know that my mortality is a real thing, but that it's okay. It's not something that I'm trying to do, and I am to that point now where I am doing the things that I need to be doing um, to preserve my life and health. You know what I mean? Like I'm not abusing things. I'm not eating terribly. I am exercising. I am practicing meditation. Like all of the things that the people say to do. And so truly, you know, it it isn't my fault that my body is, you know, I don't want to say breaking down, but it is like my individual cells are dying even as we speak. And then of course new ones are being born. But anyway, I don't know if that's something that you deal with or if that's a thing that I just deal with, but um I'm trying to not carry the burden so much that my mortality is going to let someone else down. But anyway, that was the good time. That was tea time with Mara, and I already talked about the next Backman books I'm going to read. And so I do want to get in because this is a happy, fun episode. I told you last week on one of the survey questions that I'm not really a shorts guy. I'm a pants guy. I do have my pineapple, like my pineapple man with the sunglasses on, uh, swim shorts that I'm packed ready for the beach. But I've been looking at some new pants, like these bird dog pants. Does anybody know about these? They're expensive, man. They are, but I do wear these joggers that I talk about probably every week that I love so much. And these bird dogs seem to be like that, except for their dress pants looking things. And so, could I get some that are like that so that I could wear them to school, so that I could wear them to town council meetings? But I also get these ads on Instagram and Facebook from Mott and Bow, and I don't know. That seems like a cool company name and they even look more dressy, pantsier than the bird dog. So anybody got something? I don't want the liner though. Like I'm not a liner guy. I can wear my own liner. You know what I mean? All right. But MySpace survey questions. I don't know where are we at. 22 minutes. Yeah, let's go for it. I did in the spirit of last week when I talked about MySpace and looking those up. I tried to find are there any old MySpace surveys out there on the internet, and of course there are because the internet is the internet and it's amazing. And I found one with a bunch. I found one with 50. And I'm not gonna do them all because the first one says, "What is your best friend's name?" And I'm not gonna answer that because there isn't just one. Um, and like, what color underwear boxers are you wearing now? What were we doing on MySpace, man? I don't know. What were you listening to? I was listening to Native American flute music. Um, that was my morning wake up this as I drank my tea, green tea and ginger, getting ready for this episode 62. We may hit 2,000. I don't know if 48 people will listen this week, but if they do, then we'll cross 2,000 downloads for DT Madness podcast. Pretty cool. Favorite number is 5. The last thing I ate was a black bean and avocado quesadilla and also a chicken and avocado quesadilla, 2 and 2, with some cheese dip from El Acapulco. Late though, after graduation. If I were a crayon, what color would I be? I would be orange, and not one of these fake colors that people make up. I'm talking about orange. The weather is beautiful right now. It's looking like 79 at the beach when we get down there. Last person I talked to on the phone, wow. I think it was the Crest Charger Booster Club guy. I got to call Justin. I got to call my town manager here coming up. I'm gonna skip some of these about some stuff. Favorite TV show? That's too hard, man. But Ted Lasso, it was just great. It was just great. There were some parts, there were some parts that I was like, whatever. I wish they wouldn't have done that. But and there was one episode that was really super weird. But overall, the 3 seasons that carried us through the craziness of the last couple of years, I mean, it was just beautiful. I loved it. Siblings, yeah, I do have siblings. My brother is 6 years older than I am and lives in Charlotte, and my sister is 4 years younger than I am. Josh and Jody. 5'10", blue eyes, blondish hair with some silver. I don't wear contacts because I don't go to the eye doctor. Favorite holiday we've talked about. Favorite month is tough. January is when I'm born, like, and that's when we go to Hilton Head, and like that's when the NFL playoffs and ACC basketball and what else is going on. Like it's almost time for the Australian Open. It's January, New Year. That's a pretty strong month. It's a pretty strong month. But it is dark and it is cold. So I don't know. I might have to revise that one. Let's see what else we got. The last movie I watched, I guess, was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Um, can I do a headstand? Not without hurting myself. Chocolate or vanilla? Vanilla. Easy. Who's going to respond? Whatever. Talked about my books all the times. Piercings, no, but man, sometimes I think about getting my ear pierced again. 28 years ago, I was a junior marshal, and that was the day of. So the class of '95 graduated, and we did get our ears pierced. And I got my ears pierced, and then my dad got his pierced because he thought that if he got his pierced, that I wouldn't want to keep mine in. But instead, I just doubled down and got two, and then three. Um, but if I do, I want to go straight to the hoop. I don't want to. I don't want a stud in my ear, and I don't know what it looks like for a 45-year-old man with a beard to have an earring. I don't know. Favorite football team? Man, really, it's the Crest Chargers. I mean, this is Thursdays and Friday nights. Butter, plain, or salted popcorn. Popcorn gets in my teeth, man. I don't like it. Like I like to eat a few pieces, and then it's like, no, those little things are in my teeth. I don't like it. Dogs or cats? No. Favorite flower? I mean, it used to be gardenia. Whatever. I think I've been caught doing something you weren't supposed to do. Okay, skip. Um, let's see. Who would you like to see right now? I can't wait to see my peeps, man. It's been too long. So I'm ready to see my peeps, and I'm about to. I'm about to. Y'all know who you are. Are you still friends with people from kindergarten? Yeah, man. I think so. That's pretty cool. Have I ever fired a gun? I have fired a gun, but I'm not much of a gun guy. Do I like to travel? Yeah, I like to travel by plane. I didn't used to. I'm a bougie guy though. I like that first class. Right-handed pillows that I sleep with, three and a half. Like I got this little tiny one, and I got two that are these, squishy kind, and one that's more of a memory foam kind. The memory foam is just there in case, like the other two let me down through the night. Then I can move over to the memory foam one, and yeah, I know you want to know about my pillow habits. Happy fun episode. Am I missing someone? Yeah, my peeps. Yeah, I got a tattoo. I've talked about it before. I'm thinking about the next one. I've gone through a lot of iterations, but that turtle, man, that turtle that took my anger and dove away. I love turtles so much. And of course, in Terrapin Station, if you know anything about the Grateful Dead, that the lyric is inspiration moved me brightly. And so I think about the words move me brightly with the turtle, and I would think about it on my right forearm, but I don't know. Anybody on MySpace that you'd go on a date with? I think I forgot to play the halftime music before the MySpace survey, so that was too bad. But yeah, I talked about the Grateful Dead a little bit. I've got to say that I've been looking at Peloton. Oh man, it was one of those purchases that I made, and I love the Peloton. Like I was riding it, it makes me sweat more than anything ever. I had it set up, and I would do it, and I was in the best shape probably I've been in a long time. But man, it just made me like, I don't know, like I just would get some headaches after I'd ride it so hard, like that high intensity workout. So I sold it, and I sold it for what I owed on it, and um but I still had the payments going because it was no interest. And so I just took the lump sum and put it away, and I just completed the last payment, like I said, interest free. So um but I've been thinking about like how much I enjoyed it and how much it made me be in really good shape. And the reason why is because I have been thinking about how I need to get on a workout plan. And after I get back from the beach, I'm going to go on this 30-day deal. Like I'm going to try to cut out sugar and carbs as much as I can. I'm not trying to go crazy here, but I do want to drop about 6, 7 pounds, maybe something like that. But I need to do some leg workouts. Like I got to get some leg workouts going because I'm going on fish tour in a couple of months in July. I mean, to several shows, and I'm old, y'all. Like I'm old, and I know that because I went to see Dead and Company, and man, that was great. I went to see Dead and Company in Charlotte. One of my great friends called me up and says, "Hey, we got a free ticket. You want to go?" And of course, I want to go. And so we rode up on a Tuesday night, saw John Mayer and Oteil Burbage, and I didn't know the guy playing the keyboards or the drummer that was sitting in because the original drummer Bill Kreutzmann isn't able to perform with the band right now. But there were two members from the Grateful Dead, Bob Weir, the one of the front men with Jerry, and then the second drummer, Mickey Hart, and they both are performing. And this is their last tour. And I never got to see the Dead. I never got to see the Dead with Jerry. I did get to see them at Further Fest. I think it was '97. I think it was '97. And it was all of them but Jerry. Like it was Phil was there, and Kreutzmann was there, and it was all of them except for Jerry. And I mean, of course, like I think it was Bruce Hornsby that was playing with them at that Further festival. So, of course, the keyboard, is a long story for the Grateful Dead. But um, so I went because this is the last tour, it's the last time, that they're all going to be together. Mickey Hart is 79 years old, and he was just banging on these drums and did this long drum solo, like 79, and it was amazing. And he blew a kiss to the crowd, or probably just straight to me. And it's what it seemed like. And then Bob Weir was just up there wailing like Bob Weir does at 75 years old. And I mean, it was just great. And the music was good. Like the John Mayer can play now. He's not my favorite singer or whatever, but I mean, he could sing too. But it was just really good. And I had a really good time. But man, my calf muscles have been tight ever since because I was dancing. And, of course I was dancing in my Birkenstocks. And oh man, so I'm like, man, if I'm going to do 7 shows of Dancing with Fish where it's all out, like I gotta I gotta get my workout on. Like so I'm gonna try to I'm going into training camp, going into training camp for Fish Tour, and that's a real thing. And I know I'm old too because when I was at the river yesterday, I saw this little green snake, this little tiny little green snake guy, maybe 2 feet long, you know, less than the width of my finger. I'm like, all right, guy, you're right in the middle. There's no way for me to go around. I don't want you to lash out at me though. I don't want to try to deal with you trying to bite me. Um, so of course I do the thing you're not supposed to do, and I kind of try to throw a rock or a stick at it, which of course only makes it buck up even more and ready. But I'm like, okay, well, this is not even a snake that has a mouth that's big enough to do much damage. I've got pants on, even though they're the jogger pants, so whatever. So I get up behind it. It's laid out pretty straight, so it's not coiled, but I'm sitting there and I'm counting. And I'm like, all right, what I'm going to do is just run past it really fast, like jump over it and run past it really, keep run a little bit. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm kind of rocking back and forth. I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm saying 1, 2, ready, go. And I did it. And I was like, "Hur!" I'm making all these sounds. And as I landed, like my whole left side of my back is like, ah. And just to avoid a tiny little green snake. I mean, just to make a sudden basic move. I'm not in bad shape. I'm not in bad shape. But in my mind, I'm 22. It just isn't that way anymore when you get to be 45. But I'm gonna try to do some working out. But anyway, it is, man, I am speaking too long, having too much fun on this happy, fun episode because I got to get back and watch a little bit of the French Open before I start reading AP Gov. And I really need to go to the river and try to dodge some more green snakes. So, the French Open is the best. In fact, I'm trying to not call it the French Open anymore because they don't like to call it that. I say Nevada because people in Nevada say Nevada. And I don't like it when people around here say Appalachian Mountains because it isn't. It's the Appalachian Mountains. So I try to say things the way people say things. And what they say is it's Roland Garros. They would say it would be like calling Wimbledon the English Open. And so Roland Garros is one of the 4 majors of tennis, and it's played on clay. And to me, it's the real tennis because you can't just beat someone with a powerful serve, like because clay slows the ball down. Um, and so, good serves are always, of course, really important, but there aren't going to be ace after ace after ace like there could be in at Wimbledon on the grass court, which is much faster, or the hard courts at the U.S. Open, which of course is much faster, or Australia. And so tennis at at Roland Garros, you have to craft the point. You have to put spin on the ball. You have to hit drop shots and play different angles and different tempos and all these kinds of stuff. So I just love watching this version of tennis. We're a big tennis family. Listen to episode 2 if you don't believe me. But there's this woman Svitolina who's playing, who's been winning, and she's just now back after having a baby. Like, I think it's been 10 months ago, and she had a baby. Her husband is also a tennis player who won his first round match, and that's just amazing to me. So I'm pulling for her for sure. And but Coco Gauff is playing right now, so I need to get back and check her out, and then it'll be off to reading AP Government while I'm trying to get my steps in. But appreciate y'all listening today. I hope this is a happy, fun day for you as we begin the start of June, because this, of course, is brought to you by the Church of Six, or it is a Church of Six production, I should say. Brought to you by the Bucket of Life, the Magic Rock ×2, the Foundation Tower of Stone, the Wall of Belief, and the Token of Hope. This too shall pass. And by the rope of renewal. Nothing divine is desperate. May all your circumstances serve to awaken compassion. And as you go, teach peace. Don't forget to believe, y'all. And be live. Peace, my friends.